This storm will kill you.
Look! I'm telling you! You know what I mean,
But if
folks?
rich people aren't looking out for us, who is?
It makes no difference which one of us you vote for. Either way, your planet is doomed.
You're listening to the Our Take podcast with Brian Sherman.
He had a full head, all the way till the end. It was white, and I was hoping to get that. I was hoping to get like the full head, and it was really hard to cut it off.
And Spencer Rogers.
To be a good pilot, you have to be able to make good decisions. And I know what my credit score is, so I know I don't make good decisions.
This is the Our Take podcast.
From Scary Parrot Media Studios in Ogden, Utah, it's the Our Take Podcast, episode 121. I'm Brian.
I'm Spencer.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We're in New Digs.
We have moved.
We're in Spencer's place. You can check this out on TikTok to see the new look.
Yeah.
I think we look very well defined.
Well, I think we'll get some other stuff to make it more exciting in here.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool. There's guitars over here. We got to figure out a way to show those.
Yeah, we got all the Star Trek.
I would show you, but I don't want to mess up the camera.
The ISS, which I thought about buying.
Did you?
Lego set.
I mean,
Yep.
it's a fun build.
It's a cool one.
It's not quite as cool as the Saturn V.
Right. No,
But
it's
it is
though.
cool.
Yeah.
I want to get that shuttle, man.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's November the 28th. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. But
It was Thanksgiving, wasn't it?
it was on this day in history, the first pulsar observed. Now, a pulsar is a rapidly spinning neutron magnetized star
Right.
that emits radiation. We all knew that.
Right. Oh, of course.
Yeah, this was first observed in 1967.
Oh.
Graduate student Jocelyn Bell and her advisor Anthony Hewish. Oh, Anthony had to make sure he got his name in there. Come on. Other space news on this day in history. Wow, I didn't know this. NASA launches Mariner 4. This is the first spacecraft to make a flyby of Mars in 1964.
See, don't you feel like we're behind? Like
We're way behind.
we should be doing way cooler things right now than trying to go back to the moon.
Well, I want to go back to the moon, but I don't think it should take us 5 launches like it's
Right?
doing.
Like what? We should just be able to just go.
Yeah. So,
Like,
I mean-
what is taking so
right.
long?
They're rolling out the Artemis rocket,
Uh-huh.
which is rad. It's huge. It's like
Right.
Saturn V style, big. And you and I might go to the launch in February,
yeah, that's
remember?
right.
So here's the rundown. They're launching this Artemis in February-ish with no crew, but with a capsule that could house a crew.
Just put the crew in there.
I know, and they're doing a free return trajectory, and then they're going to go up with a crew in orbit, which is the same thing as Apollo 8.
Mhm.
Then they're going to go up with a crew, orbit, and decelerate to get into a shallower orbit to land, which was actually that was Apollo 8, right?
Right.
No. Whatever. Fuck. I don't remember. Right. And then like the 4th mission, they're finally going to land, or something like that. I'm like,
Jeez.
we've already done this.
We have our iPhones should be able to calculate all of this.
Right. I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm excited. I'm really excited to watch someone walk on the moon in my life, because I didn't think it would happen.
Does it ever give you like that it's taking so long? Does it ever make you pause and think, huh? Maybe that was
Yes.
maybe that wasn't real.
This fuels conspiracy.
It does.
It really does. Like the fact that we haven't been back and we're doing the exact same thing that we did in the 60s with all these tests and, like, yes. I know there are astronauts that are like, dude, just put me in the capsule. I'll go.
Let's just go. We'll hope for
Like,
the best.
Yeah. Like they already know it's a 50-50 shot
Right.
of something bad happening, right?
Right. Just go.
Yeah.
I'll
Anyway.
go. You want to go? Let's just go.
Yeah, I'll go.
I'm too fat, dude.
I was
Can you
actually thinking,
imagine?
so on Apollo 8,
Then you get those bathrooms fixed first.
yeah, they were like 60 miles from the surface, which is where they were when they would finally decelerate more to land, right?
Right. Is that the one that in the beginning of the show? That show?
Apollo 13.
No. The show we were watching.
Oh,
Oh my god.
the historical fiction show
Yeah.
For All Mankind.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't remember how it
Because
starts.
remember, he's like seconds away from. He's like, I could just do it. I could.
Yes. So that's Apollo 8.
Okay.
They were 50 miles down
Right.
from landing on the moon. They even had a LEM, I believe. They just didn't have enough fuel, hypothetically, to
Right.
get out of any abort situation or something. I'm like, man, I'm surprised they didn't just do it. And like,
Oops.
Yeah, like sorry, I accidentally hit the fire button. Like, we're slowing down.
I know, right?
But
What are they gonna do if he did? Like fire him?
I don't know.
It's
Like,
like,
yeah, you already walked on the moon. You get fired after that anyway.
oh man,
Yeah,
that's funny.
that's what happened though on this day in history.
Good times.
Yeah.
So I have you used to work in cell phones
You're right.
in the industry, so maybe you have an answer to this question.
I know Mark would. He still works in the industry.
Oh, that's true.
And
What-
he's for sure listening.
I mean, this is a network sort of question, not so much a,
Yeah.
but so, we used to have LTE,
long-term evolution.
right?
Yes.
And it was super fast when we had it.
Yes.
And it still is,
yeah, it's plenty fast.
except it's not anymore. Because now this
I can't stream UHD
No.
porn on my
but,
LTE.
But here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand, okay? Now, my phone switches between 5G and occasionally it dips into LTE.
Sure.
And then it pretty much bricks it completely. And the same thing has happened to me on every upgrade. When I went from 3G to 4G, anytime it went back down to 3G, everything just kind of stopped working.
So you're saying at 5G everything's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's nominal.
Yeah.
But when it goes back to LTE, you're saying it's slower than the
No, it
original
won't
LTE.
work.
Oh, it just doesn't
like
work
it
at all.
doesn't barely work at all.
Who's your carrier?
Verizon. But no, this has happened with AT&T. This happened with every time.
Yeah.
Every time. So when I went from 3G to 4G, anytime that iPhone 4 would dip into 3G, done.
Done.
Same thing with 4G and LTE. Like WT, what is it? What is it about the new thing that just bricks?
Honestly, I haven't noticed a difference between
Well-
5G and LTE.
Maybe you just haven't stooped into it because you don't ever leave your home.
That's probably true. Have you done some speed tests around with 5G running? Because you work in Salt Lake, so there's a 5G
Yeah.
network down there.
yeah.
I was surprised anyway because when LTE was coming out, they're like, it's called long-term evolution.
Right.
They're like, this is it. This is what it's going to be. It's
then it wasn't though.
it's like as soon as they release 4K TVs, you can buy 8K.
Now there's 8K.
Right. Yeah. So soon
Or
enough, there'll
5K.
be like 32K.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. But I haven't had that problem though. But,
Well, then let's throw that out to everybody. I want to know if this is an isolated incident between all four of my different phones that it's happened to.
All right. Yeah. We'll put it.
I don't know.
We'll try and remember to put it on TikTok, and then we can get some responses.
Yeah, we haven't put anything on TikTok, have we?
Yeah, no.
Man, we suck.
I know. We should go live. We should do a live episode.
Oh, that's a good idea. I don't know how to do that right now.
While you talk, I might be able to figure it out.
It's all right. We'll do it next time. We'll do it live. Okay, so there I was the other day browsing the internet. Actually, don't remember why I ran into this, or maybe it was on Facebook. So you know how humans are terrible,
Right.
and they don't like sharing,
Right.
and we're just the worst of all species. No, I'm just joking.
No, it's probably pretty accurate. Like,
So
we not only do we work the best together, we also kill each other more.
that's true.
It's like it's just you go one way, the other way has to go.
Right.
Right?
Must be.
Yeah.
So African greys, the smartest parrot,
the people?
smartest bird in the world. Is that a people? The African greys.
The greys.
They're the gray aliens, but they are from Africa.
Right.
The African greys are the smartest bird, as far as we know.
Right.
And they do tons of research on these birds because they're just so smart.
And they live long time.
Yeah, they live like 80 years.
Oh, it's crazy.
So they tried something. They tried. They would give them nuts, but metal nuts, metal rings.
Oh, like a nut in a bolt.
Right.
But just the nut.
Yes,
Okay.
a nut. And essentially, they taught them to use it as currency. So if they would turn in a nut, then they would get a treat.
Okay.
And then, so they started doing that, and whenever they got hungry, they would give them a nut,
Which
a ring.
I took a couple conditioning classes, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is so this stuff is based off of a guy named Skinner.
Oh, really?
B.F. Skinner, and because it's a Skinner box. It was the one where they put an electrode in a rat's brain
Ooh.
that gave him an orgasm when they hit a bar.
Is that possible?
It was for the rats, but they died
Oh.
because that's all they could do.
Oh.
And he also did it with treats. But this is one step further in that they have to go find a nut and bring it
Well,
back.
They gave them.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like they have to go get it out of their
Let's
stash.
Let's call it a coin, because it's getting confusing.
That's true.
Because they eat nuts, and I think that's actually what they give them as a treat.
That's
I'm gonna say a coin.
That's a misstep on their part.
Yeah,
I
I
guess.
know.
But they gave them they gave like filled up their bank, so to speak.
Right.
Okay.
But they have neighbors. These birds do.
Yeah.
Other African greys that they did not give any coins to.
Okay.
Now,
Did they display altruism?
yes.
No.
So they would take one of their nuts when they noticed that
Coins.
Yes.
Yes.
When they noticed that the birds weren't getting their treats.
The other birds that
and
they had no coin.
they would take a coin and give them the coin.
Like give them the coin, and then that bird would take the coin and go. So it's not like they went
No.
and traded for a piece of food and brought it back to their neighbor. They gave the money to the neighbor.
Yeah.
These socialist fucking parrots. That's crazy.
Right?
Did they study if did it say anything about if they knew that was their last coin or anything like that?
No.
But they would just be like, "Hey, bro, this is how you get some
But
food."
that is a big part of it. They were super surprised that they didn't just give them food, that they gave them the currency to get the food.
Right.
And they said that this is actually apparently it's been shown in primates, like orangutans.
Okay.
have done this before.
Love orangutans.
But this is the first for these birds. And I was like, man, jeez, we suck.
This is amazing. It's altruism, like it had. Yeah, so they gave them. I'm just
realize
like
there
it's
was a
so
video.
cool. I'm trying to wrap my head around. I obviously understand what's happening, but it's just so cool to think that, yeah, they didn't go buy the food and give it out, right? They taught a man to fish.
Oh, they both. They didn't just do African greys. They also did blue-headed macaws, and they all started doing it.
Okay, so what this tells me is we need to really ramp up the tests from, like, things that we find stupid. Like, we need to put an African gray, find a way to, like, teach them, like, multiplication, you know? And then see if they can multiply. Like, have someone on a whiteboard, like, with hash marks, times hash marks equals hash marks.
They've been able to. They haven't gone that far, but they've been able to have them tell numbers and colors and
It gave them the coin. Huh. Yeah, it's completely communist. Just straight up. It's more like a law of consecration.
So the macaws weren't. They did macaws too, and they weren't as giving. They kept almost 90% of their metal rings to themselves, and when they did transfer the tokens, the acts were mostly passive. They simply dropped the currency onto the floor of their partner's enclosure. So what's even more interesting is that the greys would pass it from beak to beak.
Like they're talking.
Yeah.
They're clearly communicating
Right.
with one another.
Right.
Like,
the,
hey, man,
the macaws would be like, here's some change.
Right. That's crazy.
And then they switched roles.
So, wait, I'm sorry. It said the macaws kept 90%.
Yeah.
Does it say how much the African greys kept?
They
Like, were they? I want to know if they were willing to give away their last
their last
cent.
one?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might say that in here somewhere. It's a big article.
That's cool. Where's it at? Where?
Smithsonian Magazine. Here, I'll send you a.
Nice. All right.
But yeah, I mean, I just
That's bomb. That's like,
it's crazy, right?
yeah. That's. We could learn a thing or two from our parrot friends.
Sorry, I'm reading.
That's all right. I mean, I thought they just learned words and stuff. I didn't know that they cared about each other.
The Greys, man, they're really smart.
Speaking about cared about each other.
Yeah.
I was just reading about was it lobster? lobsters and crabs are sentient beings and shouldn't be boiled alive, UK report says. Octopuses, crabs, octopuses? I thought it was octopi. Clearly, it should be octopi.
I believe it's octopussies.
Octopusize. Octopuses, crabs, and lobsters are capable of experiencing pain or suffering, according to a review commissioned by the UK, which has added the creatures to a list of sentient beings to be given protection under new animal welfare laws. Because, as you know, they cook some of these things and cut them up while they're alive.
Right.
In some restaurants. Wow, they should be treated as sentient invertebrates.
Well, yeah, octopi are super smart.
Right.
I think they're from another planet.
I do too. But you know, you go to some restaurants, they literally cut the legs off in front of you.
So messed up. Why would you want to do that?
I mean, you go to Red Lobster, they pull a live one out.
I don't like that either.
You go choose one. Yeah, me
like
neither.
that either.
But so the UK can't do that anymore.
Oh, I'm gonna move to the UK then.
You got to kill them first. Then it's okay in a humane way.
Oh, that's terrible.
Right? Yeah.
So I learned something interesting.
Get out.
Yeah. There was a documentary that came out last year that I didn't know about until I randomly ran into it the other day, which I couldn't believe that I hadn't seen it.
That is weird for you.
About a man named Ted Fujita.
Ted Fujita.
Fujita. Yeah.
Wait.
So
as in the Fujita scale?
Right.
Get out.
So where do you so he wasn't actually a meteorologist to begin with.
Okay.
He did start his career learning about damage. And what do you think damage what was his first damage survey?
I don't know. Was there a big tornado in Japan?
Sort of.
Really? Earthquake. Volcano.
This was in the
Is he Japanese?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's just talk with the name.
Yeah.
Fujita. Okay.
He's Japanese.
Yeah. Oh, wait. No. World War II. Bombs.
Yeah. So he noticed that when he was doing the damage survey for the bombs that trees and other things like directly below the explosion, well, specifically trees, they weren't toppled. But on the outsides of the explosions, they all went flat.
Okay.
And that's what got him interested in tornadoes.
Did it explain why in the documentary?
Why? Oh, it's because the explosion went out and not down.
Okay. This is him, by the way. Ted Fujita.
Yeah. So he, after the war, he moved to the U.S. where he was kind of met with some skepticism, and obviously it was right after the war. So
he moved here right after the war.
It was
ballsy.
pretty close, right after the war. Yeah. But yeah, he ended up pioneering tons of the stuff we have today. He proved suction vortices, which
the suck zone.
There was so little known about tornadoes
Right.
in the 40s and 60s that he was able to prove that it's not just one giant thing; it's multiple vortices that come down, which is why you can have a house that's not touched and one that's completely destroyed right next to each other.
Okay.
But what I thought was, so he went on this and microbursts, which were the cause of several plane crashes in the, I think, 70s or 60s.
They just like shoved him down to the ground.
Basically,
Yeah.
and he proved microburst.
Okay.
And because of that, lots of technology was developed to stop it from happening, and that's why planes can avoid wind shear today. But he surveyed tons and tons and tons of damage. Just every time there was a tornado, he was surveying the damage. And it wasn't until 1982, when he was 62, I believe,
Yes.
that he saw his first tornado.
Wow.
So he'd already developed the Vegeta scale, and it had kind of been put in place. And
It should be noted that his name's not actually Ted.
no.
It's
He
Tetsuya.
started going by Ted.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the E in EF scale?
Enhanced.
Enhanced Vegeta
Yeah,
scale.
Later on, it got changed a little bit to. I can't remember
They
exactly.
changed like
what
the wind
changed, but
velocity
yeah,
measurements.
something like that. Well, the biggest problem with the Vegeta scale or enhanced Vegeta scale is that you have to have damage in order to classify.
Right, we've talked
a
about
tornado.
this.
So, like that one in El Reno, that was the biggest tornado in history. I believe it was only rated an EF3 when it definitely was
That's
higher.
right.
But it was in a big open field and didn't really hit anything.
Because hurricanes are categorized by wind speed,
right.
whereas tornadoes are categorized by damage alone.
Yeah, because you can't really.
They just need a separate category. Like this was an EF2, but it was an H10.
Well,
right?
It's
Like-
just you can't getting that data is near impossible. Whereas the hurricane, you have days and you can actually fly a plane through it, and
You can see it with the.
you know that how they get the information is not by radar in the hurricanes. It's all by planes constantly flying
Really?
into it. Yeah, they do like one after the other, and they drop these probes, and that sends them the information.
Huh. Just like Twister.
And so until it gets really close to the onshore, then they can finally start to use the radar to
to see this,
to see
the spin speed.
yeah.
I guess they can tell how fast the wind must be by how fast the cloud moves or something.
Maybe
Something.
it's
I'm
the
sure
same
there's
as the same as the radar works. It's like the water droplets, how fast they're moving in the clouds, and
This guy's crazy, man. I mean, crazy smart.
yeah, you should watch this documentary. It's called Mr. Tornado. I guess he ended up being kind of famous, and that was his nickname, Mr. Tornado.
Yeah.
But
That's a rough time to come to the United
I
States.
just thought the connection between World War II and what's even more crazy is where he lived, Fukuoka.
It was where I just saw it.
It's Fukuoka.
Fukuoka. Yeah.
Was the first target for the bomb, but they had to scrap that target because of weather.
And
Otherwise, he would have died.
right. And I would imagine that the bombs we dropped would qualify as a Vegeta 5.
Probably.
Like, did he purposely make it so that those just don't even register on the scale, just to throw in our face like how destructive these were?
I don't think so, but
He's like, yeah, that was an F5. How does that compare to the bomb? That was an F5 as well. Because if you know,
I mean, it's pretty comparable sans the radiation, but
there's nothing beyond an F5. Is there theoretically? Or is
no.
it's just that's the
F5 is pretty much, I think it's 250 and above.
but damage.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, there's never been anything that they could have qualified to be
Okay.
any stronger than that.
Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I'm
got
sure
some
it's
crazy
possible.
climate
I'm
change.
sure it's possible.
Yeah. Huh. Ted Vegeta. Who knew?
Yeah, crazy. Speaking of crazy and weather, yesterday I saw a story about a plane flying from Guatemala, which is kind of a war-torn country, sort
Right.
of. It's not great. It was an American Airlines plane. Registration number November 970, November 737. But anyway, a man popped out of the landing gear bay after the plane pulled up to the gate, and he had managed to stow away
Where did they land? Miami?
Miami,
Okay,
Guatemala to Miami.
Guatemala to Miami. Okay, let me think of a globe. Wait, let me think of a flat Earth first, because that's the real one, and then I'll think of a globe. I mean, that's got to be like a 4-hour flight, right?
It might actually be less, but
It's right there, just across the
it was
Gulf.
closer than I thought it would be.
But you still get to
So
35,000
yeah,
feet.
no one's really sure how exactly he's alive because it could potentially be negative 81 degrees.
Yeah.
in that bay, and there's no oxygen. There's no heat. Plus, there's the whole wheels coming out that you'd have to survive, and the bumps and.
So he was. I just found this dressed in blue jeans, a T-shirt, jacket, and boots. It was the jacket.
At least he had a jacket. I just don't know how he would have breathed. Breath.
Breathe. It's breathe.
Because
So did he wait for him to taxi all the way to the gate and then
I
hop
guess.
down?
I
Can
guess.
you imagine being the guy like that's refueling the plane?
well,
and this dude
there's
jumps out?
a video, and they're like, "What the hell, man?"
Really?
Yeah.
How was
There's not a
that?
video of him coming out,
Oh.
but just them talking to him after.
I want to. It's gonna. You know what it's gonna make? Those ground crews are gonna start wearing GoPros.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They're gonna check everyone. Let's see if this is the one.
Come on, big money. Yeah.
Apparently, this has happened before, but almost every time they die
Yeah.
because there's no air.
Nowhere.
Or talking to him in Spanish. I hate these news
Yeah,
videos.
they
Just show
fake
me
it.
the freaking video. I don't need your stupid music
There's probably
behind
some trademark or copyright that
Yes.
makes it.
it.
It's like the ones on YouTube that you find and it's like read by a robot.
That's so annoying. So annoying.
Just they should be deleted.
Immediately
Yeah.
and harvested for their organs.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not a great way to travel. Don't know how he survived.
And he was immediately sent back.
So you're probably.
He was turned over to immigration.
Yeah, he was. I when I was flying, so you can fly up to 12,000 feet legally without supplemental oxygen.
Okay.
And any point after there, you run a really high risk of getting hypoxic,
Right.
which is just a lack of oxygen, and your vision narrows, and you get kind of loopy, and maybe you fall asleep or pass out or whatever. And when I was flying, I was at 9,000 feet once, and I was getting a little worried that I was
Really?
yeah. So I dropped at altitude a little bit because I was kind of feeling weird. So I just I don't know that was
You know
he
what
just
happened?
up there and he just passed out.
He hibernated.
Since we don't really know what that is.
Yeah, he freaking hibernated. He passed out. He was hypoxic, so his heart beat slower. His body temperature cooled.
That's got to be what
And
it
then
is.
the pilot did the descent just right. Just to, you don't want to thaw him too fast.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
the guy was in full hibernation.
that's crazy. Yeah, I don't get it. Don't
Yeah.
try this at home, kids.
No,
Don't.
don't get in the landing gear. I mean, so many questions.
Yeah, all of them unanswered.
Because you can't, I'm not familiar with the schematic of this particular aircraft,
Yeah,
but you can't get anywhere from
no,
the landing gear bay.
no. Not only that,
There's not like a little door to the.
no. Not only that, but on the 737, there is no door that covers the wheel. The wheel just sits. It just sits there. So,
What? Wait, there's no door? So he sat there in the wind? Ish?
probably yeah. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't as windy because they're designed so that it
kinda
it
seals
doesn't
up?
like suck in. But I would imagine that. I mean, it's not climate control. It's got to be worse than if there was a door. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, you chose the wrong plane,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, you look at 737 bottom view, and you can just see the wheels just kind of sitting there.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, they fold up.
Yeah,
Like, horizontally.
yeah.
So there's just a hole in the plane. So I guess it's the hole is recessed just the right size.
There is a little bit of extra room in there.
Well, sure. But,
Um.
so it was probably just like a whistle the whole time he was in there.
Oh. I don't know. I've never been in 500 mile per hour headwinds, but
Well, and up at that high, his ears. He was clearly hibernating. Yeah. When they got him, he's like, I don't know how I got here.
well.
Right. Speaking of planes, I don't know how.
Here's a cool view of.
You have talked about planes. We have talked about planes so much on this show, and you've never told me about this badass plane
Oh, I saw one of those
called the Super Guppy.
Yeah, it's a cargo plane.
So I just saw it because I get NASA news. And
oh,
NASA,
that's right. It is a NASA.
NASA
plane.
was flying some Artemis stuff to Florida.
Oh, they're still using it?
Yeah. Yeah, and
There's so much better ones now.
well, it's NASA. You know, they're doing the same thing they did in the 60s.
Yeah, I know, right?
But here's a cool view, you know.
I
Put
actually
this up on
saw
TikTok.
a NASA one of those when I went to the last museum in Tucson.
I mean, look how small this guy is here.
No, it's big.
You can fit like a space shuttle in there.
But have you ever seen the Airbus Beluga?
No, I'll look it up. But this is just like, it's just such a cool looking plane. Like the front view, it's so bulbous. Like, is that the Airbus? No, that's the Super Guppy. Look at that. It's crazy. All right. It just looks like a normal plane with a fuselage twice the size on top of the regular fuselage.
Well, yeah. Look at the Airbus.
Actually, 3 times the
Type
size.
in Airbus Beluga.
Airbus Beluga. Oh yeah, they even paint the freaking
They do.
the mouth on it so it looks like a beluga
They
whale.
do.
Does it open the same way?
I think actually the top opens and there's like a little cargo thing that comes up.
Man, that's crazy. I just can't. It reminds me of like, dude, everything comes back to the freaking moon for me. But when Apollo 13 was coming back, they had to light up the LEM engine, and Jim Lovell said it's like flying with an elephant on your back. And that's what this reminds me of. Like,
Yeah.
I've never flown a plane, but you have. Wouldn't this be kind of weird?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'm sure that there's crazy weight and balances and stuff they have to do.
Because the wings look stubby.
Um,
The wings look stubby.
I don't think that it's any different than a regular.
And you'd think they'd put longer wings for more lift, but I don't, whatever.
I don't think that you need longer wings. I mean, considering there's not passengers and stuff in it, I mean, it's
Not yet. That guy from Guatemala is going to hop on.
well, yeah. But I mean, the weight. I don't know how comparable the weight is. I guess to a fully loaded plane with, because you got to consider that when you fly, especially when you fly internationally, not only are your bags on there, but they fill the bottom with cargo too,
Right.
and like mail and all sorts of junk.
All your Amazon.
Yeah, and so you've got 250 people on top, and then their carry-ons, and then all the cargo underneath. And if this doesn't have all that, it might actually equal out to
That's true. Especially if they're putting another plane inside of it.
right. I mean,
That's light.
yeah, it's just a tube of aluminum.
Yeah. Oh, it does open up, just kind of top pops off.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting. Well, there you go. Super Guppy and the Airbus Beluga.
Did you? I just sent you. I sent you a picture of a 737 engine or gear bay.
Oh, I looked it up already.
Oh, like the bay?
Spencer. Okay. All right. Let's we can put this up on
Every time I look in the innards of an airplane, I'm like, what the hell does all this stuff do? I mean, look at all that crap.
yeah. So yeah, it's just like a little rubber flange.
Yeah.
So he was just chilling in here. Literally. That's crazy.
Oh no. Yeah.
Speaking of chilling,
Yeah.
I was driving home the other day
Oh.
on Washington Boulevard.
Oh. I think I know where you're going with this.
Washington Boulevard and 40th Street, which
Oh.
is a main thoroughfare here in Ogden.
Yeah.
And on the corner,
Oh.
I noticed some people, and they had signs that said like "honk for freedom," which is misleading because you could honk and then you might not be on their side. I don't know. But I knew because one of them was wearing like a hat with the little American flag ribbon around it.
Uh-huh.
I knew who I was dealing with. Right. These guys were protesting the vaccine.
Yeah.
On the corner of 40th Street in Washington with had signs
I've actually seen them 4 times now
Yeah.
in 4 different places.
saying stuff like
They were-
fear is control.
Right. Don't.
Which is interesting because after I got the vaccine, I was a lot less afraid.
Right. Don't get hooked. I saw that one.
Yes.
It has a hook and a syringe.
Looks like a syringe. Yeah. So we're driving by, and
You just want to firebomb those people.
Ashley was with me, and I'm like, I want to say something. I have to say something.
But nothing you say is.
I know, and I didn't. And then I rolled down my window, and I was about to say something, and Ashley's like, "Don't." I was still going to, but then I heard they had music playing. I'm like, they're not going to hear me anyway. And I wasn't going to like tell them to fuck off. I was.
That's what I want.
That particular day, on KSL, our local news, 17 people died in Utah from COVID. So all I wanted to do was inform them that 17 fucking people died.
17 of their friends.
Right. 17 Republicans.
Honestly, it's Utah, so it's already, pretty good odds. And then,
and I didn't because they had music playing, and they wouldn't hear me. And like you said, whatever. You're not.
I want to throw.
I just don't
I
understand
throw the virus on them.
So weird, man. Yeah. Also, I've seen 3 or 4, and I understand where we live. Okay, it's a red state, whatever. But I've seen 3 or 4 trucks and cars rolling around with giant flags that say "fuck Biden."
Yeah.
And I just
like
can't
full on.
Yeah, there's no asterisk.
And this is Utah, and how has no one gotten enraged about this? And
I just imagine 2007.
This is the state where we have moms that come in and berate us for having Cosmo on the shelf.
Right. People, we have billboards in Salt Lake City that say Cosmopolitan is porn.
Yes.
In bright pink.
Yes.
And there's a website. Apparently, some woman caught her son masturbating to Cosmo once, and she's on a crusade. But these fuck Biden, what? You know what? Yeah, fuck Biden, fine. But can take you back to 2007.
Right.
And if anybody who was opposed to the Iraq or Afghanistan war had a flag that said fuck Bush, can you imagine what this same group of people would have said? And as hated as Trump was, I've never seen a fuck Trump flag.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, I guess the equivalent would be how crucified Trump gets on the media as far as like SNL and Colbert and that kind of stuff.
Maybe, but like you're ordering the flag, you're attaching it to a pole,
right?
And you're affixing it to your truck to
sometimes
drive
it's an
around.
American flag, which
yeah.
God forbid that you kneel during the anthem, but put
Biden
on there. It's totally fine.
The president of the United States, right?
I don't. It's.
I even saw a "Let's Go Brandon" sticker. I was like, you know what? You just because you can't say fuck.
So over "Let's Go Brandon." I'm like, you people are so.
It's the equivalent.
Stupid.
It's the equivalent of heck or frick.
No, but
or dang.
It's so stupid.
It is really stupid.
It's so juvenile. I can't even wrap my mind around it.
No, I drove past a truck today that had a fake. Obviously fake. Had a sticker that looked like Trump was riding in his truck.
Oh wow!
And then a "Let's Go Brandon" in the window.
I'm actually okay with them doing all this stuff because then we know who they are. We don't have to guess, and we can avoid them.
That's fair. But I asked Ashley this. Let me ask you: do you think? Let's pretend that they're our age.
Yeah.
One of the guys I saw looked like about our age. Okay. 40 years from now, the guy's 75, assuming that our democracy is still intact and it's peace. Do you think he'll have any moment of like,
no,
man, that was crazy?
No.
What a crazy
time. None of the people, no one that's our age will. 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17, 15 that are going along with this, they will. They definitely will.
Okay.
But
like when they hit their 30s, they'll find their own political way.
Yeah. These people are just they're following their parents, thinking it's funny and, let's go, Brandon. It makes me like tingle with rage.
Right. Yeah, and if you hear someone say, "Let's go, Brandon," your immediate response should be, "Fuck Joe Biden" to them. It'll be confusing to them, and frankly, it's the truth. Like, we don't worship Joe.
Right.
Yeah. No, fuck Joe Biden. He hasn't done enough for immigrants. He still hasn't taken care of the border crisis and the people being separated.
I guess they think that we
worship him.
Want to get and suck his balls just like they do for Donald Trump.
Yeah, no.
But that's we just want to piss off some libtards, but we don't really care. I think that
No.
we're just like,
There
yeah.
are plenty of reasons to fuck
Okay.
Joe Biden. let me reword.
One
There
is
are-
his hair. My gosh, for a man of his age, wow. One, his tight little.
Let me reword. There are plenty of reasons to exclaim.
You should tell his wife that.
Fuck
'cause from what I hear,
You know, Mr. President, it's nice to meet you. I just wanted to let you know there's a lot of reasons to fuck you. Okay. I don't know. I just can't imagine seeing like a fuck Bush or a like.
well, that's a different time, man. I mean,
Oh, okay.
what the hell has happened to?
It's just happened so fast.
Yeah.
Even like a fuck Romney. Like if we had a fuck Romney, it'd be so weird. It would be so. We would be talking about
Well,
it,
this
going,
is-
what is going on with
Well,
people?
it's just the difference between the parties, I guess, and
Anyway.
how
Also, yeah.
immature. Or, I don't know,
Maybe,
stupid.
maybe you can explain to me. One of the women that was protesting was waving a flag. It was an American flag that had no blue field, just stars that were blue,
Oh,
and the stripes were going
Oh,
up and
yeah,
down.
I saw that.
Is that a special flag? Do you know?
wait, isn't that from Jericho? Jericho U.S. flag. Hold on.
This one. Here it is.
Yeah.
Do you know this flag? This is the flag. This is the true flag of the United States of America, the civil flag of peacetime. United States Inc. is at war against the citizens represented by this peacetime flag. That's on a T-shirt, by the way. I'm reading. So
There is a flag like that in Jericho.
So
Have you ever seen
they're
Jericho?
driving around. They're driving around with fuck Joe Biden, but then waving this peacetime flag.
Dude, the amount of backwards.
I don't know.
It's
Is this the new Confederate flag?
maybe.
This must be the new Confederate flag. I guess. I don't. Same thing. You know.
I
We
don't know.
we changed the stripes into rainbows and they freaked the fuck out. You know.
We did. Who did that?
Well, you know, for pride.
Oh. Yeah, they don't. Man, I don't know.
Anyway,
I could probably ramble on about how
it's weird.
obnoxious.
It's just
and,
weird.
And
And
how
what are they
these
doing on
people
this corner?
Don't look intelligent
Like-
at all.
Someone's driving by, questioning. They're on the fence about getting the vaccine, and they see these guys, and they're like,
It's like the
That's it.
same people that protest outside the LDS conference.
"That's true."
How many times has someone dropped to their knees and been like, "Oh, praise the Lord, thank you,
Right.
thank you for changing my mind right here and now."
Like if they should be like handing out pamphlets, right? So here I have an
Well,
example.
There's no information to back it
They
up.
can make it up, you know. I was walking out of the hospital when Oliver was being born. Right, I was just going home for a few minutes, and a guy I was in the elevator with was like, "Hey, I just felt like I should give you this," and it was a little booklet. I think he was a Jehovah's Witness. I don't
Oh,
know.
those are the best ones.
It had a little booklet, you know, with nice.
Was it nice
sayings.
drawings?
It
'Cause
wasn't
there's-
drawings. It was like text
Oh,
and then some
Because
like
there's
verses.
some good ones. Like I got one once that had a plane crash on it. It was like this fiery plane crash and it explodes and everyone's dead. And there's drawings of all this. I was like, where will you be?
Okay, so Quinn got in her Halloween sack one that basically said, "You're a sinner.
Awesome.
Find Jesus," or something like that. But
Awesome.
you know, it's like hand out pamphlets or
'Cause
something.
That's totally what Jesus did.
yeah.
You're a sinner.
Like no one's
Find me.
maybe 1 out of 10,000 people is going to stop and say, "Okay, explain your position to me, really," because I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
Not I want to know how crazy you are.
Well,
like I'm genuinely interested in your position.
Like whenever you've seen all the TikToks and stuff of them trying to explain their position.
Yeah.
They don't have one. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I heard on Facebook,
Right.
or YouTube, and fuck Joe Biden.
Let's go, Brandon.
Did you see the one where his shirt says "fuck Joe Biden"? And he's like, "Oh, so you want to fuck Joe Biden?"
Yes, the good liars.
yeah, and he's like, Yes. Oh, and your son right here also wants to.
I'm just trying to figure out why everybody wants to fuck Joe Biden. Yeah, that's at The Good Liars on TikTok. They have a movie,
Oh
apparently.
yeah, I know that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
When they go to Ted Cruz's.
Oh, dude, all of them. They have so many. They find their ways into these events. What were we just talking about?
I don't
Oh,
know.
positions.
Doggy.
Missionary.
There's one that I don't have the length for a good dog.
No, there was a guy on TikTok talking about conspiracy theories and mostly the psychology behind them, but he brought up a point that some flat earthers believe that I didn't know.
Oh, what's that?
So what's your first argument when they talk about the ice ring?
No one's hit it.
Yeah, go there. Right?
Yeah.
Go there. Apparently, there's a wing of the flat earth movement. There are many wings, right?
Right.
Some believe in the firmament, some believe it's a conspiracy, whatever. There's a wing that believes it's protected by like armed men.
Oh.
The ice ring is. So if you get close, they like
Because
squid.
you
I don't
couldn't
know.
see something like that from
They
from
like,
further than a gun could hit you
I
with
don't
a
know.
telescope.
they
or-
snipe you from 2 miles away in your Zodiac. I
Huh.
don't know, but I didn't know that
Do
was
we have a lot of mysterious boats vanishing off of the?
the Bermuda Triangle, which is
Oh.
where the ice starts,
Oh.
just off the coast of Florida.
I don't know how people rationalize the flat Earth at all. Like,
Well, it makes sense that they have that argument now, because
Sure.
that's stopped the argument for a long time. Like, well, okay, just let's go to the ice then.
but is it an argument without any evidence at all?
No, but at least it was a place that we could go to stop the argument.
Although, when I watched that flat Earth movie, there was a point when I was like,
But now they're saying yes, many people have attempted, and they've been killed, and their bodies have been discarded.
so they don't want to go because they're going to be killed.
Right. That's the point
Gosh,
now.
that's almost like a cult right there, man.
I know. Yeah. Back to coronavirus, though.
Were we on coronavirus?
Well, we were. Yeah, because we were talking about the protesters.
Oh,
We have a variant,
yeah.
Omicron. What do you know about it?
Just that it's more transmissive, and that it's shown up in Europe now.
It may remain vulnerable to current vaccines. That's good. May.
May.
This is in the New York Times, the failing New York Times. How effectively the current early findings are a mixed picture. The variant may be more transmissible and better able to evade the body's immune responses, both to vaccination and to natural infection, than prior versions of the virus.
Have you got your booster?
Not yet.
I
Am I eligible now?
yeah, everyone.
Everyone's okay.
But I was earlier because I was fat. But I scheduled one at Smith's,
Yeah.
and I think it was last Friday. I went over there to go get it, and it got there, and they're like, "You went to the wrong Smith's," and I was like, "Well, I'll just go home."
Yeah.
I could have driven to the
That's
other
right.
Smith's.
Yeah, you
I
did
could
tell me
have.
that because there was the dude. We said the dude who was sitting at the pharmacy on the phone with his wife. Like, no, there's a guy coming in for a shot. I'm ready to give him a shot. I
that's
can't
right,
come home. Let's see. So Omicron was first identified in southern Africa, but it's been found in half a dozen European countries, including the UK, as well as Australia, Israel, and Hong Kong. Interesting. All right.
I
Well,
mean, basically we're boned, but
dude, the Earth. This Mother Nature's trying really hard, and frankly, kind of winning.
well, yeah.
People of Earth, I am Lur of the planet Omicron Persei 8. Turn down the TV and we demand.
You got to watch Futurama.
Yeah. So
Persei 8.
we moved the podcast from Scary Parrot Media Studios to Scary Parrot Media Studios.
In actual Ogden proper.
That's true.
Yeah, go ahead.
And in doing so, it was to prepare a space, a living space in my home.
Uh-huh.
It was a studio,
Right.
but I'm going to make it into a new living space. So Ashley and I are going shopping for couches.
Okay.
Two things. Does microfiber not exist anymore?
Well, it's a cheap. Most people don't want it.
But I mean, usually it's there.
At IKEA. Did you go to IKEA?
No, we went to RC Willie. And then we went to another place in
think,
Ogden.
I think you're going to need to go to the Willie to get anything microfiber.
Well, that's where I was.
Wait, did I say Willie?
Yeah.
I meant the IKEA.
IKEA. It was like a fad, right? Like
I had one.
it was all the rage because those stains could wipe off, right?
Yeah.
And the room that we're putting it in, we wanted, something a little bit warmer physically than leather.
Right.
And so we were like, well, microfiber's there or just straight up fabric of some sort.
Oh, they're expensive.
So first of all, I couldn't find any microfiber. There was like one couch at RC Willie that was microfiber.
But it was
Second of
ghetto?
all, no, it just wasn't. It was like a big sectional. We don't have that. And then second, no good couches. Like lately.
Well, they're probably on the ocean. You'll need to go get a jet ski.
That's probably true. But usually on the showroom floor they have.
They probably got so desperate
They've sold them.
that they're
I bought a couch off the showroom once at RC Willie.
really.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they give you like 20% off
Yeah,
or
I
something.
should give you more than that.
I know.
All the nasty people.
I guess I'm just complaining that there were no couches available.
Well, actually, I was browsing IKEA the other day, their website,
Yeah.
and everything I looked at, out of stock.
Oh yeah.
I think that we're just this
I'm actually
whole-
not a giant fan of IKEA's living furniture. Like
Right.
their couches and stuff, not incredibly comfortable.
No, I have the one I have is, and it's all right.
Yeah.
It's not. It needs a new cover because it's dirty AF. But
Yeah, I like their desks and their cabinets and stuff, and their shelves are cool.
yeah,
but
yeah. They're out
but
of everything. Everybody's out of everything.
it's true.
We're doomed,
We are
and everything's gonna have the Omicron Persei 8 variant
right.
on it.
It's including Nike. Did you see Nike shut down all sales or some shit?
What?
Let's see. Nike
Because they paid Colin Kaepernick too much.
Nike shuts down sales. It's not consumer. Factories shut down, put crimp in Nike's sales. It could lose production of 160 million pairs of shoes.
Wow, that's a lot of shoes.
Yeah, it was like they're not selling to distributors, and so for the holidays you won't be able to find Nikes
Why are they doing that?
because they can't make them.
Oh,
I don't know. The kids are on
The
strike
chip?
or something.
they need a chip in them. Computer chip.
I thought you said chimp.
Oh, they get higher chimps.
Was it? There was a story about that.
Yeah,
They were using chimps
yeah.
as slaves to cut down trees.
Yeah, we talked about that.
That's so
That was-
terrible.
I think it was earlier this year.
Yeah, here we have African Greys being altruistic and sharing the wealth, and now we're making chimp slaves.
Making Nikes.
Yeah, that's freaking couches, everything. I don't know.
So as you said, we're in a new studio.
Yep.
My house
Mm-hmm.
in Ogden, which, as you know, has a
storied past.
storied past.
Yes.
checkered
Checkered
past.
past.
So there I was in bed the other night,
Oh no.
and it was like 11, and I hear pop pop pop,
Oh,
and I was like, oh no.
it's happening.
Yeah. So I pulled out the police scanner app and tuned into the Weber County stuff, and there are shots fired on 31st Street in Ogden. Like, oh no, gray Cadillac is driving south.
Oh man. Yeah.
And then some guy came to my door the other day and was like, "Hey, I thought this house was vacant. I was coming to check up on it." To make sure that it was okay.
He's coming to check on it.
Like, yeah, you can't.
Before you moved in here, I was the one managing the thermostat,
Yeah,
so I was just coming to check.
yeah. And I just wanted to be like, listen, you know what happened to the last vagrant that
Right.
that camped in here?
Yeah.
Do you want that to happen to you? Because I will burn this house down with you inside,
I'll
sir.
burn this mother down. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm in the market for a gun. So
Interestingly enough, as I was packing up today, I was
Uh-huh.
like, I wonder if I should bring my gun.
just in case.
No, Ogden's all right. Ogden's fine.
Oh.
It has this. It's just as bad as Salt Lake City.
Yeah, there is a house.
Actually,
there's-
Salt Lake's probably worse.
There's
man.
a couple of houses going up for sale on my street. So the more houses that sell,
Continued
the less
gentrification.
renters there'll be, and
Yes.
the more we will gentrify, and the less I will get shot at.
What a hairy subject, huh?
Hmm.
Gentrification.
Yeah, I guess it is pretty terrible, but
It is. But nobody wants a mobile home in their neighborhood of 10,000 square foot homes.
Did you know that some of the worst states for homelessness are blue states?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, there was a whole thing about it the other day on the same guy who did the ice cream machine documentary. Did you ever watch that?
No, I didn't.
you gotta
I
watch
should. I mean, there's a lot of interest in that topic because red states tend to be welfare states, sucking off the federal teat, with the exception of Utah. It's one of the red exceptions.
Right.
Our state is money managed well.
Right.
Well, we don't have a deficit, but it's also because we don't pay anybody, like teachers or anything. But I was just in Oregon visiting my brother in Portland.
Right.
And there's tents
Everywhere?
not everywhere, but they're like in sections of the city. It's like, oh, there's a tent row.
Right.
There's a tent row, and it's tough. It's a really tough thing because you're trying to think of a solution. So my brother runs restaurants.
Right.
I'll give you an example. And my brother's a liberal guy, He marched in Portland during the Black Lives Matter protests, with threats of being kidnapped by the Gestapo. You remember that?
Yeah.
He runs these restaurants and he has paper towels on the tables because they have just delicious sandwiches at these restaurants. And frequently homeless people might grab some paper towels to do their business, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. But it's worse when someone grabs your paper towels and then does it like right outside your back door of the restaurant.
Oh.
Right? And so he had to move the paper towels. And so now he's this guy who has a giant heart. My brother is like, we need to do something for the homeless, but I also can't have you shitting right outside my door. And Portland actually has put outhouses out.
Right.
Or not outhouses, porta potties.
Oh, okay.
Around town, especially in these bigger camps. And the governor or the mayor is giving them I can't remember what he told me. They have 2 weeks notice, like you can live in a place for 2 weeks and then you have to move.
Are they doing tiny homes? We're
No.
doing tiny homes apparently.
The tiny homes work. I mean, there's so many different schools of thought here.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, I'm pro. Let's house them with no strings attached, right?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with shelters. There's a lot of strings attached. If they're doing any drugs at all, they're not allowed in the shelters. So then the streets become more dangerous. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Let's get them housed first, and then treat them for their mental illness or their addiction. Let's help them. You know what I mean? But I'm a liberal, so what can I say?
Speaking of addiction, we've talked about this. I think it wrapped up though. Dope Sick on Hulu.
Oh, I haven't watched any of it
You
yet.
should watch it, man. I didn't realize how horrific
fucked
the
up.
oxy.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize was, I guess I didn't realize how true addiction works.
Yeah.
People say, I'm addicted to cake or sugar or weed,
Right.
and that's well, you're not. You just really like it.
Yeah.
And you can't stop yourself sometimes. But with the opiates, you get to the point where if you don't have it, you get sick.
So very sick.
And that's why people switch to heroin, just to feel like they weren't dying, essentially.
Well, and if they don't, they buy a pill off the street that's laced with fentanyl,
Right.
and they die.
Yeah.
So actually two things on that. First, my brother wouldn't mind sharing. He's been clean now for 15 years, 16 years, but he was a heroin addict.
Oh, really?
And he quit cold turkey. He did a couple, what's the drug?
The
Whatever. It's you know what it is. You know what I'm talking about. He did it one time. He said he didn't like it. But so cold turkey. But he used to, he moved home for a bit and would methadone. He would wake me up crying.
Right.
At the time he was 26 years old and just saying everything hurts. And I
Right.
tried to get him to explain, what do you mean? He's just everything hurts. Feels like my bones are breaking, my muscles are tearing. It's real pain.
Right.
So he just broke his leg riding his motorcycle.
Oh.
And so he was on some pain meds, and he was a little worried about it, obviously. But he managed really well. But I thought this was kind of cool. I don't know if this is a policy everywhere. Might just be in Oregon. When they sent him home with pain meds, they also sent him home with Narcan.
Oh,
I was like, that's
smart.
That's brilliant.
Smart.
Frankly, everyone should have Narcan. It's like it should be with the AEDs in stores. You know what I mean?
Right.
And at workplaces, like there's Narcan and there's an AED right there. Like just we can take care of everybody.
Right.
You know. But
Huh. That's I can't even believe they still like prescribe it at all, man. I wouldn't take it if they gave me the option.
yeah,
I mean,
addiction is weird.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are aware of it. You know, my brother he basically told my dad, like, I'm going to die if I don't stop,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
And so that's okay. Come on home. We'll get you right. You know, I had another friend who was an alcoholic that I was really close with, and I was talking with them about it. And just to get a sense of the addiction, I said, you know, here's a scale of how close to death I am when it comes to alcohol.
Right.
0. Right? I said, where would you put yourself on this scale of 1 to 100 in terms of how close you are to death? And this person responded like 95. I was like, really?
Huh.
All right. Well, let's get you to treatment, you know? And they went to treatment and clean now. But a lot of addicts are very cognizant of where they are. You know, they might lie to themselves and others about how much control they have.
Right.
But they're aware they're aware there's an issue.
Right.
You know?
It's true. Well, speaking of issues, we had
A good and a bad.
yeah, we had the Rittenhouse verdict.
Yep.
Um,
Did you watch the drone footage?
no, I didn't know it was available. Did you watch it?
Yeah. So it's this footage that we hadn't seen before in the trial, at least I hadn't, of the very first guy he shot.
Right.
There's cell phone footage of him running away after he shot the guy, where he's saying, I just shot a guy, right? So, long story short, Rittenhouse, this kid, knows people in Kenosha, has family there, whatever, friends, and he went up there earlier that day to, like, help clean some shit up, and then he was asked to come back and protect this car lot, right?
Right.
Which is actually against the law to threaten lethal force to prevent property damage in Wisconsin, just so you know, in case you're ever there. And to dispel any rumors, the gun was already in Kenosha. He didn't cross state lines with it until he went home. But the first guy he shot, he was like running down a block and being chased by this guy Rosenbaum.
Right.
Rosenbaum had a grocery sack with him. I don't know what was in it. But he was gaining on Rittenhouse, and Rittenhouse turned around a couple times. The drone footage shows that he may have raised his gun, which is against the law. You're not allowed to raise a weapon unless you have an immediate threat of death or severe bodily harm.
Right.
So if a guy just wants to beat you up, it's a gray area in Wisconsin. Okay.
Of course.
If the guy's like, I'm not going to kill you, I'm just going to beat you up, I guess that would be right. But this guy was gaining on him, and he threw the sack at him, didn't hit him. And then they kind of get in between some cars. And there's a drone like down the block that just happens to lift off the ground right as they're running into this parking lot. It's really weird timing. And the initial evidence shows that this guy Rosenbaum was shot 4 times, 2 in the front, 1 in the back of the head, 1 in the back. And the one in the back of the head, I believe, the coroner said was the kill shot.
Right.
And these shots were quick. It was like, tap, 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 tap. Okay? So the defense argued, well, in order for Kyle to have gotten him in the back while facing him, Rosenbaum must have been lunging for him, which then you have a self-defense claim.
Right.
Okay? The drone footage it's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. But by the angle of the shots, they made a pretty good case that he was lunging for him.
Yeah.
Here's the other problem. Aside from that, someone in the crowd of protesters, literally a second and a half before Kyle's shot, probably less, randomly fired a gun just out in the street.
Just
random.
for no reason?
Yeah, just kind of in the air. Or whatever. Maybe he was trying to destroy property. He wasn't shooting at anybody. So as Kyle is kind of turning around to see how close Rosenbaum is to him, he hears a gunshot. And then this guy's lunging at him, allegedly. It's hard to tell. It was really up to the jury to decide what they thought this guy was doing. Because before that footage, that was the one that I was like, I don't know, man. You're the one walking around with a gun. That's pretty provocative.
Right.
You know? And that was the prosecution's claim, is he provoked this attack.
Right.
The ones where he's running down the street, that's a hard case to argue if you're a prosecutor. I'm not on his side. I hope everybody knows that. I think this kid's a piece of shit, and it brings up a lot of other issues that's wrong. But in terms of the law,
Right.
he had a guy point a gun at him, and he shot that guy.
Right.
That guy lived.
And that is that is my opinion. I don't. It's like Colbert. This is what Colbert says. He's like, if this is the law, then we should probably change the law.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that on the way over.
Yeah.
What could we change? And I think there's an easy one.
Yeah.
I think there's an easy one. Often during protests, organized or not, the police will cordon off an area
Right.
and either keep protesters in this area or say you need to leave this area, right? Like you're not allowed to leave. If you're protesting, you're not allowed to go past me. Or if you are protesting, you need to leave now, right? I think that practically they could enforce gun laws in a protest zone. So if a protest is scheduled,
Right.
like in Salt Lake, if they say we're going to do Library Square, it's like 2 blocks, right? Then the law is there's a protest scheduled for here, there are no guns allowed. If you get caught with a gun, you'll be arrested, it'll be confiscated, whatever,
Right.
you know?
Well,
I know that people will obviously argue the whole people will sneak them in, you know, blah, blah, blah. Kyle was openly displaying this weapon for hours before this happened. And he saw police officers 15 minutes before it happened who thanked him for being there.
oh, that's a problem.
Right? So not only is that a problem in terms of why did you egg him on?
That gives a dumb 17-year-old permission
Right.
to do whatever he wants.
He just received permission from the police. So that's issue number one.
We should hold this police liable then.
Or just like, okay, policy change. Don't encourage people with guns,
Right.
you know? But if there was a law in place about guns in a protest zone, let's say that the mayor or the chief of police or the governor, whomever, has said, okay, there's clearly something going on between 10th and 10th Street.
Right.
We're going to say that's our protest zone, no guns allowed. You know? Cops don't even take guns into those zones. You know? They take batons, rubber bullets, and pepper spray. Because they know that if they get overrun, they're screwed.
Right.
Right? So
Why do we allow?
why we shouldn't that was just on the way over here, like that's a simple one.
Right. That'd be easy enough.
That would have prevented the Rittenhouse issue. Because whether or not he provoked Rosenbaum, Rosenbaum could have seen Kyle and said, you fucking red hatter, you have a gun, I'm going to beat the shit out of you, right? Well, if Kyle didn't have a gun,
then that doesn't happen.
yeah, no, Rosenbaum might be an asshole,
Right.
right? He might be crazy. He might be an asshole. He did chase him,
Right.
which is stupid. You don't chase a guy with a gun.
Yeah, that would be.
But
yeah.
to go back to my idea, that could solve at least Kyle's situation. You might get people who hide him, right? But
Yeah. I mean,
he might not have killed these people if he didn't have an assault rifle. If it wasn't an AR-15, if he had a pistol, you could make the argument that he might not have killed his.
maybe. I don't. The outrage over it. I think that he was always going to win. Like he was never going to get convicted, and I felt like that from the very beginning.
Well, the judge didn't let him see evidence that was
The judge
very
in
clear.
this case was
So
super sketchy. Like that was just weird.
we've talked about not being allowed to call them victims.
Which I come to find out is actually a pretty
He's done it
regular
before.
practice. It's not just him. It's like it's a thing.
Right. But there's two pieces of evidence that I thought were potential for character dismantling.
Right.
Right? There's like a couple days before that he's on cell phone video and he sees some black people leaving like a CVS and his friend for some reason is recording him and Kyle says, "Man, I wish I had my AR right now. I'd take him out." Something like that.
Oh.
Like, why would you not let the jury see that?
Yeah.
That it clearly displays his mode of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And the second piece of evidence was him getting in a fight where he like just goes crazy on a woman.
Why wouldn't they let them see it?
I didn't watch the judge issue the order or the ruling, but I think I think his argument was that it's not relevant to
relevant to his character. I don't know.
I don't.
That judge seriously seemed like
It seemed weird.
Like even if it came back guilty, he was going to overturn it. Like it.
Right.
He was BFS with Rittenhouse. They went and had drinks after.
It seemed a bit weird, and I can't remember if he also disallowed the jury from seeing the photographs of Kyle in the bar afterwards.
Oh.
His mom
Right.
took her 17-year-old son to a bar after he killed people and took pictures with known white supremacists displaying the white power sign, which is the circle with 3 fingers.
Well, I mean, they're terrible people.
No,
all of them.
he's a piece of shit. He's
I
racist.
genuinely hope that this affects his life very negatively. And I think what bothers me more than anything, more than him walking away, more than him even killing people, is that he's been placed on a pedestal
Yes.
on the right, and he's getting douchebags like what's the Florida
Matt Gaetz
the Florida rapist Matt Gaetz
asked
is
him
like,
to be
come,
an intern.
come work with me, even though you're probably a complete dumbass and don't know anything.
Well, why would being acquitted of murder charges
Make you qualified to do anything.
Yeah.
This guy is obviously a Nimrod. He's obviously a complete idiot.
Marjorie Taylor Greene wrote up papers to give him a congressional gold medal.
Yeah. I mean,
What the
I
fuck?
guess we'd expect that from these people. They are the dumbest, most embarrassing representatives that have ever, to my knowledge, been in the Congress.
I saw the intern thing, and I'm like, Matt Gaetz, he's just a fucking asshole. He's just trying to get his headline, right? But
if I see him on Fox News offering commentary on things on Tucker,
I did.
that's gonna throw me over the edge, man, because he's not a smart person. He doesn't.
No.
His insight is complete wash
Right, yeah.
because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He brought an AR-15 out because he's a punk ass wannabe cop / military person
Right.
that should probably just go play airsoft instead of dicking around with real guns.
Right. Yeah. What else did I see? I got on Twitter, unfortunately. And I should stay off Twitter the same way I stay off Facebook. But I saw a woman running for Congress. I can't remember which state, but she tweeted, "Not guilty, Rittenhouse for Congress 2024."
Sure,
Okay,
let's do it. Might as well. What the hell?
He's 18 now. So, first of all, he won't even be old enough by the rules of the Constitution to run for Congress in the House or the Senate, right?
Right.
So I had because she deleted it. So I got a screen grab and I was like, "Did you forget the Constitution here?" It just pissed me off. I just got to
how
stay.
well versed they are.
Yeah. I was like, whatever. Madison Cawthorn chewing tobacco in the chamber. Did you see that clip? He's chewing tobacco in the chamber and spitting it into like a
gross.
gym cup, like a.
God, man.
This is what I found on Twitter in like the 10 minutes I was on there. I'm like, okay,
every
gotta
time
stay
I
off.
see all this stuff, I just want to look at people and be like, this is your party, man?
Right, like this guy was acquitted of murder.
This is what you're associating yourself with. You're okay with that?
You can be happy with the acquittal, right?
Sure.
You can say, in my view, he was not guilty. But an intern for Congress, a congressional gold medal,
Well, let's give OJ something too.
Right.
You know, let's.
Speaking of OJ, this is what's going to happen to him. These families will sue
I was
civilly.
wondering about civil suits.
I'm sure they'll sue civilly. And,
there was nothing civil about that trial.
and they'll probably win, you know? And then there's obviously a defense fund for Rittenhouse to sue like CNN and Joe Biden for slander because they called him racist. And some cops in Virginia got fired for supporting him. And so now they're suing to like get their jobs back. Such bullshit.
You don't want those cops on the force, man.
No. Let's talk about something good, though, in terms of justice.
Okay.
Ahmaud Arbery's killers were brought to justice.
This one was a lot more cut and dry, I think, than the
Yes, it was,
Rittenhouse.
and it was recorded by one of the defendants himself.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
So,
What an idiot.
a guy and his son, what's their names? Like Mick Henry or some shit. I don't care. See Ahmaud Arbery running in the neighborhood and decide to chase him.
Mm-hmm.
Basically hunt him.
Right.
Son is driving, has a shotgun. Dad is in the bed of the truck with a gun, and they call their friend, their buddy. His name's William, and the video starts with a view of his dashboard and Ahmaud running, and then their truck comes into view. They're stopped in the middle of the road. Okay. Son is getting out of the driver's side as they kind of come into view.
Right.
William is recording. Ahmaud runs around the passenger side of the truck and meets the son right about the grill of the bumper-ish area. And they start struggling over the gun. One shot is fired. Then they go off frame to the left. You hear another shot. Then they come back on frame. And then there's the third shot, which is probably the one that killed him ultimately. Dad is panicking in the back of the truck, doesn't know what to do, and William is just recording it. Okay? That tape put him away. That cell phone footage.
Why did he keep it?
I don't know. I haven't looked into the specifics. I don't know if it was confiscated after the fact.
It doesn't matter. Like, you delete that right away. Like, before it goes to the cloud. You just...
Like, think of... Without that video, there's no way.
Probably would have gotten off.
There's no conviction.
Self-defense.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I hadn't seen this before.
He was black, so he was attacking us.
Yeah. I hadn't seen this video before. I watched a few. I watched a few videos of interactions that Ahmaud had with the police back in 2017. Apparently, he was arrested on suspicion of shoplifting back then as well. Whatever. It just, in my opinion, it shows the systemic racism, and this guy's probably put up with a lot of shit from cops in his life.
Right.
But another video was the body cam video of the officers arriving to the murderer's home. The son is covered in blood.
Ew.
It openly admits I shot this guy.
Right.
If he just would have stopped, I would have shot him. Now, if you were an arriving police officer on, as far as you know, at least a shooting, an attempted homicide,
Right.
and someone is covered in blood and tells you they're the ones who did it, what's the first thing you would think that a cop would do?
Are they black or white?
They're white.
Oh, well then,
You offer them a moist towelette.
Yeah. See if they have any beers or anything, and have a drink.
I've stressed this enough that I've watched a lot of cops. And I've watched a lot of live PD. I've read a lot of news articles. I've watched a lot of real dash cam. This is not based on Law and Order. This is based on like real body cam footage I've watched. If someone is suspected of a crime, they are always detained.
Right.
Sometimes they're detained even if they're not suspected.
Oh, yeah.
Right? This guy's covered in blood. Admits to shooting him.
Well, they don't want to get AIDS.
And they don't cuff him. They don't have him sit on the curb. He's walking around his lawn. Usually at the very least, you sit on the curb with your ankles crossed. At the very least. You're telling me you just shot a guy? Sit your ass down. Right? Or get in the back of my car.
Right.
Anything. I don't know why there's not more outrage about that. You know? Long story short, though, all three of these guys get convicted of felony murder, and the son who actually pulled the trigger is malice murder. The punishment is the same in Georgia. It's a mandatory 30 years
Oh.
with also there's no parole until 30 years unless the judge says no parole at all.
Oh, okay.
So they'll be locked up for 30 years at least. All three of them.
That's not really enough.
The son could get the death penalty. I don't know if there's been talk about it from the prosecution, but he was convicted of malice murder, and the other two weren't. They were convicted of felony murder, which is a whole thing in Georgia. It's just a different.
Oh, so is the malice murder? Is he going to get longer?
No, the punishment's the same. It's
Oh.
more just semantics.
So if you're going to murder somebody, then Georgia's the place to do it, or
No, because no matter what murder charge you get convicted of, it's the same. Like you're going to prison for 30 years.
Huh.
They're actually pretty hard, like relatively, right?
guess.
A lot of states, you get convicted of a life sentence, you're out on parole in 7 years, right?
what?
A lot of states.
I don't like that.
So, yeah, in felony murder, they have a law in Georgia which has been used incorrectly, in my opinion, in other cases. But it's essentially if you've committed a felony that has led to a person's death, if you have committed a felony during a circumstance in which a person is murdered, you are guilty of that murder. So the father and the friend, William, who was videotaping, or not video, with cell phone, right? Were charged with assault and false imprisonment that also carried a felony murder charge because it led to the death.
Right.
That's what they were convicted on. The son was convicted of malice murder and felony murder. Malice is meaning he had like a malignant heart or something like that.
What of the Holy Spirit? He's the Father,
The Father, the Son, and William. But yeah, man, this guy recorded his own fate. Like,
idiot.
you're just so racist that you think you'll get away with it. I'll show the cops this video. They'll see.
Look at what I did, man.
They'll see.
Check it out.
We'll sleep.
He was coming right for me.
We'll sleep tonight, which they did sleep that night in their bed. They weren't arrested till later.
Really?
Yeah, because the tape didn't come out, so there wasn't any outcry. Yes. The case in which I think that law was used wrong was two guys were robbing a place. May have been burglary. Getaway drivers in the car.
Right.
Guy is robbing the place, gets in a shootout with police. He's shot and killed.
Okay.
So they charged the getaway driver with murder. Because by definition, during the commission of a felony, someone was killed. You are now guilty of that felony, which is murder.
Oh.
It's bullshit.
I don't. That's kind of weird.
It's a weird one. So that one has made news because it's also race related. You know, it's like this dude was driving the getaway car. He didn't even know his friend had a gun. You know,
That's stupid.
it's a weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one. But justice there for Ahmaud Arbery. And who knows, these guys, same with Rittenhouse, by the way, both these cases, it's possible they get federal hate crime charges. So we'll see.
Oh, really?
Even though Rittenhouse was acquitted in Wisconsin, he could be charged federally for hate crime or some other charge.
Well, now's the time. Let's do it.
Not to mention all the
Get him in
civil
there.
charges that are going to come his way.
I just think that there should be some sort of a charge for just being irresponsible and stupid.
Yeah, no,
You
like I
shouldn't have
said,
been there with a gun.
Right.
Period.
like I said, for what the prosecution charged, the charges that were filed, I understand why the jury did what they did.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the justice part of it. I don't think justice was served. I think the law was satisfied, right? That's not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, these guys died. They didn't need to die.
Yeah.
That's really the end of the story. Like they just didn't need to die. Anyway,
All right.
it's a heavy topic.
Let's take a break.
All right.
When we come back. Sorry. When we come back, we have some random headlines that will be riveting. And honestly, that is probably all that we have left. So,
The asteroid.
oh,
The
yeah,
asteroid,
there's an asteroid coming. We're all going to die.
Yeah.
That when we come back.
People of Earth, I am Lur of the planet Omicron Persei 8. Turn down the TV and Now then, the creatures you call poplars come from a nursery planet in our sector.
You monsters have been eating our babies! We demand justice! As you ate our children, so shall you be eaten by us!
We will begin with the firemen, then the math teachers, and so on in that fashion until everyone is eaten. Transmission over. Well, that went okay. I tell you, when you know you can't scratch, that's when you really have to, huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, that feels a lot better. What? It's still on? Oh!
This is the Our Take Podcast. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you these random headlines.
Gets me every time. Welcome back, everybody.
I had it way turned down.
Hey, find us at the Our Take Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I just posted to the gram, which posts to Facebook and Twitter for us.
Did you?
I did. Of our new digs here.
I just ordered Indian food, so I had
Oh, that's
it
what you were
ready.
doing. I was promoting the show.
Win. So I collect model airplanes
Yeah.
to scale.
Little glue sniffer.
No, not those kind. They're metal. They're die-cast planes.
Okay.
And almost every model is from a real plane with a real tail number. And so I got this one the other day or last month. They finally did a SkyWest one with the SkyWest paint job. And then lo and
The livery.
behold, livery. Lo and behold, I come to work a few days later, and the real plane is there in the hangar.
Get out.
Yeah.
Same
so-
tail number?
Yeah. So I got a picture of my model with the real plane.
That's got to be like a 1 in 10,000 chance?
I mean, we get a lot of planes that come through the hangar, but I mean, yeah,
Maybe more?
It's pretty rare.
You got to post that. No Photoshop.
I know it isn't. It is. I went up and put it on the wing, and so the tail number's just right there. You can see it. Pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
I know.
I like it. What are the odds? Those odds. I wish I was better at math.
I have you can set alerts for specific planes that come into Salt Lake. So I have alerts set for all my models. And one of them actually comes into Salt Lake all the time, but it doesn't ever come to the hangar, really. So I would have to go to the gate, and I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
That sounds hard.
Hey, I'm going to start off this random headlines. I don't
is that
care.
even freaking allowed?
I'm doing it. This is actually your headline.
Oh.
But, you brought it up. NASA delays James Webb Space Telescope launch after sudden incident.
You mean they dropped it?
If you don't know, the James Webb Space Telescope is like the biggest mirror ever made.
Yeah, it is. And it's going to be like a bajillion times better than Hubble.
Yeah, like literally. Like whatever number that is, it really is. It's huge. It's massive. And here's what happened in French Guyana. A clamp band, which attaches the spacecraft to the launch adapter, suddenly released, causing a vibration,
Well, this is somebody's fault, right?
which could crack the mirror.
Right.
I don't know.
How do you launch a mirror into space on a rocket?
Yeah, they're worried about this vibration. We got a new, smooth rocket
There's going to
tech.
be slight vibrations in the rocket.
The telescope is in there on, rubber bands, Yeah, anyway, this clamp band is what releases to finally release the spacecraft off the rocket.
Right.
And it came
And
undone.
it broke.
Can you imagine if that came off during launch?
I'm really worried that
20 years and $40 billion.
they've been making it for a long time.
Really, I bet you they've probably spent $100 million just
Probably
just
more.
buffing the mirrors with diapers.
With diapers?
Yeah.
What? Why?
They're soft. I don't know.
Really? That's the only reason you said that? There's no other
No,
reason.
I think it's
not like you heard somebody say, "Hey, if you want to polish something."
It's from
Get
Ferris
your
Bueller's
diaper.
Day Off.
Oh,
and his dad's car. Cameron's,
that's right.
He's like he just wipes it with a diaper.
Okay.
Anyway, it's your turn now.
Dogs. You have a dog.
I
Does
do.
your dog get nervous? Does he have stress?
Yes.
Because he freaks out when people come over not in a bad way.
No, people think he's sad though because he whines. He
does.
whines out of happiness.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting. And he's not a good attack dog by any means. I walked into your house, and he
knows you.
He wanted me to pet him, and
I've gotten him riled up a couple times that I was like, all right, I've had enough. He's scaring me a little bit,
Well, good news for your dogs who need to be relaxed, because there is a new TV channel for dogs.
Yes.
Dog TV set to launch to help with stress and behavioral problems. Man's best friend no longer has to put up with joining humans on the sofa for soaps. Sofa,
I get
sofa. Or the latest binge watch series. Soon the nation's dogs will have a range of specialist pooch-friendly content.
So, is it just constant, it's a boy, hello, a boy, or is it like they're trying to actually speak dog?
I'm trying to figure out, but from what I see, it's just dogs. Created after 3 years of research, the channel will air scientifically tested programming aiming to alleviate symptoms of conditions.
Some dogs
such as
don't like to
anxiety.
see other dogs. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe there's different shows. Like you don't want to. You want to skip to the.
Really, it should be like videos of your humans.
Yeah, that would make more sense, right?
Yeah. Because it's clear that they think you die every time you leave.
Yeah.
Like they start going through shit, have like mementos to remember you by in their kennel.
Oh, this is in a different country because they spelt colors wrong. Colors, audio frequency,
With a K?
and camera, have all been adapted to cater to dog senses. Yeah, it doesn't anywhere say.
Oh wait, so is it only going to be broadcast in like gray, green, and
I don't know
whatever the colors are that they can see?
I think they see blue and yellow.
So green.
Shut up. They can't see green.
I don't even know how we know that. Well, I'm sure we could figure it out, but it's not like we attached a dog eye. To a
That's
human.
one thing that bothers me is I want to know what it's like to see differently. You know how because birds have like
a
two
fisheye lens,
270 vision.
Yeah.
And my head cannot wrap around what that would be like to see.
Be like a permanent pano.
To see up.
Right. Yeah.
Or falcons have vision that's like 100 times better than ours. So when they're up at
they can zoom
10,000 feet, they can see the hairs on a rabbit's back. And how would
they have 1,000 times digital zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would that be?
You know what? I bet you there's a VR app, and if there's not, there should be.
At the aviary in Salt Lake, I think there is something you can
stick your head in
that will simulate the distance, but not the. I don't know how you could simulate the.
So the VR, if it could work, It doesn't have to be the actual environment you're in, but you just make it fisheyed, so you see
I guess. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. But could you interpret that correctly? I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
It's like a fish.
Yeah.
They have to have it's on both sides of their head,
Right.
I don't even know how they see forward. Sometimes when your birds
Same
look
as
at you,
birds.
they look sideways, right?
Occasionally.
And look at you with one eye, like a side eye.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah.
But they can still look forward.
It's like a bee or a fly. Like, it's all weird.
Yeah.
It's all weird, man.
Some of them have 8 eyes, like spiders. What's that all about?
What is that about?
Is that even necessary?
No.
Or is that just overkill?
I think it's overkill.
I think it's underkill.
I don't think evolution overkills anything.
Well, speaking of evolution. Large pigs.
Swine news.
Pig news. Large pig found roaming outside Massachusetts Mall on Thanksgiving night, waiting for Black Friday deals.
Wow, look at this guy.
I don't know that he was actually waiting for deals.
That's a big pig, man.
But that would give more...
God damn it, Jenny, get back in the truck.
A large pig was spotted at the Salmon.
Why is that funny?
Solomon Pond Mall in Marlborough country on Thanksgiving night. Not sure if this fella got lost or was trying to reserve his line and spot for Black Friday deals, police wrote on Facebook. Come on, police.
They got to do better with the puns.
Be better.
There's got to be a pun there. Like he's stuffing or something.
No, Pixel. What?
Like
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
he made his way off the table. I don't know. It's got to be something. There's got to be a pun that we can
Hold on.
use.
Here's another. Maybe a large pig was found. Not sure if. No. So it looks like he was
reunited.
Reunited
That's
with his lovers.
Right.
But once again, this is just more evidence that pigs are trying to take over the world.
They're everywhere.
They even want our Black Friday deals.
Yep. Which there aren't any this year. Sorry.
Black Friday's stupid.
Supply chain
we
issues.
Talked about that.
It is kind of stupid.
I mean, you don't
Like-
really.
people died.
I know it's so stupid.
People were trampled at Walmart.
Well, funny you should say that because speaking of being trampled, 2 injured as pig storm golf course in West Yorkshire.
How many stormed the golf course?
A golf club in Calderdale was forced to close as loose pigs took over the course, charging at people and causing damage. 2 people were injured. The hogs caused chaos at the Light Cliff Golf Club, storming one of the greens and knocking over bags. Club professional
They
David.
make it sound like they had
I know,
ill will.
like murderous intent. David McKidd, who is 40.
He should
I
go
don't know
by,
why that's necessary to the story.
For this story, he should have gone by McRib.
Yeah.
David McRib.
Said the 2 oh no. The 2 black pigs.
Oh, come on, Mass. You can do.
Freaking racist.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't Mass. That was the
No,
last
it's
one.
just
Where's
England. They can be racist there, I
this?
think.
Yeah.
I
I think they can.
They were first spotted on the course on Sunday, injuring a golfer by causing cuts to his leg.
Forcing the white pigs off of the third hole.
They returned. They returned to finish the job on Tuesday and injured a male worker at the club who attempted to usher them. Well, there's your problem.
You don't usher a pig.
Off the course. Both people suffered minor injuries and were treated in a hospital. You know what the difference is between the UK and here? If I got scratches from a pig, I'm not going to a hospital. I can afford that crap.
You can't afford it. No. It's
But
free
they're
over
like,
there.
You might as well go to the hospital.
And this place is offering free bacon sandwiches to anyone who books online to play. Just saw
that
that
real?
at the end of an article. Yeah.
Did they kill the pigs?
I don't know. That's a good point you make, though.
Oh, they dug small holes.
I think if anyone listens to this show, they should know how dangerous pigs can be.
They can kill people. They have.
They're
before.
very fast.
But those are more boars than or actually, it's the pig boar hybrid that's
It
the
is.
most dangerous.
It is the chimera, which is half human as well, or part
that's
human.
right.
The Alex
wait,
Jones.
That was a real thing. We talked
is a
about
real
that.
thing.
We talked about
Yeah,
that.
it's a real conspiracy that Alex Jones pushed.
No, they did it in a lab. We talked about it.
Yeah, but they weren't called chimera though. I don't think. I don't remember. But chimera is like a specific name for like half cow, half human, or half pig.
There's a picture of a prostate at the end of this article for some reason. I'm not sure what that's all about, but it is there.
A fire. Oh wait, okay. A chimera is a fire-breathing female monster with a lion's head, a goat's body, and a serpent's tail. No, I don't want the Greek mythology.
That's incorrect. That is not what we're looking for.
Um,
How about half pig, half human?
I
First,
should-
the
you know,
first
should've
thing
just
that
done
comes up.
chimera.
Human pig. See, we talked about this a few years ago. Human pig hybrid created in lab.
That's right. That's right. But they promised that they weren't going to.
Yeah.
We promised not to grow it past 4 pounds.
Right.
Or so, I can't remember what it was.
Then it escaped and mated with a local gentleman, and well,
Humanoids. I can't remember. So it's half pig, half human?
yeah.
Is a chimera?
Well, I don't
among
know.
other maybe
I
it's
just
just-
googled half pig, half human.
Maybe it's just a general term. I
I
don't
think
know.
chimera is a half lion, half goat that
With a serpent's tail.
with a serpent's cell that pillages
Yeah, fire breathing, by the way. Yeah.
Sorry, someone's messaging us. Who? Mitch? Who's Mitch?
Just Mitch?
With 2 H's. T. Mitch.
Oh, T. Mitch.
I need a new pod to get me through my calls tomorrow.
Yeah, man. T. Mitch and I go way back.
Well, good news, T. Mitch. We are doing one right now that you will.
He must have saw our gram post.
You know what? I'm going to make sure it's available tomorrow. I will spend the night getting it ready and sending it to Brian so he can
I'll post it.
copulate it onto the internet.
Copulate it?
I don't know.
Populate it.
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, thanks, T. Mitch. I don't know why I don't get those notifications.
I don't know. It's from I linked everything together on the Facebook Business Suite.
Gotcha.
And so I get messages from Our Take, Rejected Takeoff, and Scary Parrot, I guess.
Well, last thing here. Did you have another one?
No.
Last thing is the asteroid.
Yeah, the one that's going to kill us all?
No, the one that NASA's trying to bump.
Do you have any slight suspicion that maybe this asteroid is actually coming for us and they're just kind of playing it down? Like, hey, we're going to try to bump it out.
I didn't until now. Now I do. There's absolutely no reason to tell us.
Because remember how we talked about several months ago how the UFOs that we see could potentially be time machines that are coming back to see a big event?
Yes.
So
they're coming back to see the asteroid.
I mean...
Yeah, so NASA sent a rocket up literally to bump an asteroid to see if it can change its trajectory.
Right. It's not a very big... I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't take much in space.
It's only going to hit it at 15,000 miles per hour.
Only.
That's not that fast. That's as fast as the Earth spins, isn't it?
No, the Earth spins at 9.
Are you sure?
Yeah. But what really matters is relative velocity. 15,000 miles an hour relative to Earth, or what's the relative velocity to the asteroid? Because if the asteroid's going 14,999 miles an hour, then we hit it at 1. See what I'm saying?
Well, what if you hit it from the side?
If we hit it from the side, I don't know how to do that math.
I'm sure that hitting it from the side is the objective.
Right, to bump it.
Because you want to bump it. What if we bump it and the new trajectory brings it by Christmas?
Or we bump it and it goes to the one planet that has life. The one other planet. That's what they're coming back to see.
Non-interference clause.
They're coming back to see
to stop the asteroid
when humans destroyed the one other species.
Douchebags.
Yeah.
Oh.
I gotta love NASA though. I like NASA. They're friendly people.
What about Space Force? This launched from a Space Force base.
Hey, guess what? Remember how you gave me shit about not putting the Space Force logo in when the transgender rights thing changed?
Yeah.
I came across an ad the other day, left it out. And I said, thank you for leaving it out. It's not a legitimate force.
It is a legitimate force.
Part of the Air Force. It's always been there.
So the Marines are not a legitimate force then.
The Marines rebranded.
They're literally the same. It's the same concept.
The Marines rebranded and changed what they did. All right? They became ground forces and changed what they did. So what Space Force is doing, the Air Force was already doing.
What the Marines do, the Army's already doing.
But the Marines are better at it. Sorry, Army people.
And
soldiers.
The Air Force is already doing. And
Air Force doesn't have people on the ground. They don't have infantry.
Have medics. They have paramedics. The parachute. They're
those are Army paratroopers.
No. There's a version. The Air Force has the highest airborne medics, the best. It's like their version of the Navy SEALs.
All right, but they're not infantry. See, the Marines are a branch of the Navy, yes, but the Marines are only on boats for a limited time, just to get to their destination.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're on the ground fighting.
So
the things that Space Force is doing, the Air Force has already been doing. There's no new mission objective
that you know of.
There's no one going to space
that you know.
That's
of.
true. That's true.
Donald Trump knows. Okay.
I am a little worried about what Russia's doing.
With Space Force?
They sent a missile up to blow up one of their satellites and put a bunch of space debris in the fucking in the ether.
And they said it's going to be like a problem for the space station.
The space station had to navigate away, had to go up further or something.
Freaking Russia!
Yeah,
what a dick move.
They're just like, oh, we're just going to test this missile.
Aren't there people on the International Space Station too?
Yeah, in fact, they just sent a new module up. But they're also probably the ones who drilled the hole.
Probably.
I don't know what the hell's going on, man. I feel like the astronauts in the space station have been in the Soyuz capsule a lot lately, which they go to anytime there's anything that's remotely close to happening. Like, hey, we're tracking like a pebble. Go get in the Soyuz because if it hits you guys, you're gonna want to be in that escape vehicle.
Right.
But who knows?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, new module though for Russia going up, like maybe. But I still don't understand why. Who in their right mind was like, yeah, let's just blow it up in space.
This miscommunication between their space force and
their
and
their ground forces.
Yeah,
right. Like most satellites have a little thruster on them. All you had to do was thrust it into the atmosphere. That's it.
Apparently, we're not as advanced as China and Russia on hypersonic tech.
No, we're not. Have you seen the shit they have?
No. Have you seen the we have?
That I know I've shown you the Russian missile
UFOs that are actually probably high-tech U.S.
Yeah, that's probably true. But have you seen that Russian missile that like shoots up and then it turns in the air and then goes?
We have that.
Not like this.
Yeah, we do.
This is there's like a word for it. It's like
non-fungible. Non-fungible missile.
It's a non-fungible missile. You can buy it with Bitcoin and Doge only. No, it's hypersonic without space flight.
Oh.
Or something weird.
That would make a loud boom.
A really loud boom.
Oh, Russian hypersonic missile.
Yeah.
First thing that comes up.
It's super cool.
Eurasian Times.
Because all of our missile defense systems in Turkey are meant to take out slower moving missiles. So now these ones can just zip right past our defense systems.
Well,
and get to, France or England.
It's still...
I don't understand the animosity.
I don't understand
between
why
Russia
we're still dicking around with killing each other. Why can't we just not do that?
I don't get it.
Like, let's just focus on the people that want to kill us, the terrorists, and that should pretty much be it.
I really don't. I don't understand
why do we need to bolster our military to fight China?
Well, and
Are we
feel
really honestly, is China really going to come over here? Like, why? What does that do?
What resources do we have?
I mean, it would just I mean, it would just totally.
I don't understand. And I feel like all of us countries, I should say, like America and the United States, and Russia. Those are two different places. Russia and the United States. I feel like they take sides on purpose, just to piss off the other country.
Yeah.
Like when Iran does something, Russia's like, yeah, we're cool with that.
Right.
Fuck you, America.
Yeah, well, obviously.
And then when, I don't know who, Israel does something, we're like, yeah, we're cool with that, Israel. Go ahead. Kill those Palestinians. Fuck you, Iran. We just do it just to piss off Russia.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Meanwhile, I mean, China's just doing the right thing. They're just like, whatever, man. Let Russia and America just go.
We'll come in later.
They're taking over Africa.
China is?
Yeah. Look into how much they're spending in infrastructure in Africa. They're building trains.
Wait, why?
Planes.
Or where?
Automobiles in Africa.
That's rated like the number one and pretty much only Thanksgiving movie.
Oh, interesting.
Plane, Trains, and Automobiles.
They should make a new one. I mean, that would be just gold.
Well, the old one's fine.
I mean, it is. It's not a new Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, just another Thanksgiving movie.
It's got
John Candy.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah, Steve Martin. Yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the best scene in that movie is the rental car scene when Steve Martin goes off on, oh my gosh.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
So good. So good.
I should probably watch it every Thanksgiving.
Probably.
Are we still recording?
Yeah. I think we're done, though. That's it. That's all we have.
All right.
Sorry
good.
if
My Mac's about to die.
If our opinions don't align with yours, we don't really care. This has been episode 121 of the Artec Podcast. You can find us at
the new
Scary
slightly
Parrot
more
Studios.
dangerous Ogden studio.
That's right. Find us at the Artec Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or theartecpodcast.com, where you can find Spencer's shirts.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. For episode 121, I'm Brian.
I'm Spencer. Do you think I can put steel wall in front of my window?
Yeah.
All right.